Welcome to Science and Technology Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: with the rise of AI, getting a job shouldn't rely on a uni degree. UK's BBC set to reveal cost-cutting plans as part of news services overhaul. FT. North Carolina to train workers for Toyota EV battery plant, Governor. The worst day, Israeli warning prompts Palestinian exodus from North Gaza. What are global firms with presence in Israel doing after Hamas attack? With the rise of AI, getting a job shouldn't rely on a uni degree. The Sydney Morning Herald. Generative AI technology is set to replace entry-level tasks traditionally carried out by graduates, leaving a gap in their education and skills. This means that candidates' soft skills will be more highly valued by employers, such as critical thinking and problem-solving. The World Economic Forum estimates that 44% of workers' core skills will change in the next 5 years, with AI automation taking over simpler tasks. Employers and educational institutions may need to focus more on teaching critical thinking skills and assessing concrete skills and critical thinking through aptitude testing, rather than relying solely on traditional credentials. UK's BBC set to reveal cost-cutting plans as part of news services overhaul. FT. Reuters. The BBC is planning to announce cost-cutting and reinvestment plans for its news services as part of a wider overhaul. The broadcaster has faced criticism this week for its coverage of Hamas, the militant group that controls the Gaza Strip. North Carolina to train workers for Toyota EV battery plant, Governor. Nikkei Asia. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper has said the state is preparing a pool of skilled workers as Japanese companies including Toyota Motor invest billions in the region. The state is building an electric vehicle battery plant with Toyota, while Honda Aircraft, an American unit of Honda Motor, recently opted to expand its HondaJet production facilities there. Cooper said the state is beginning training programs in community colleges and high schools that could provide staff for the Toyota plant. He added that the state is offering tax credits to firms that commit to creating jobs. The worst day, Israeli warning prompts Palestinian exodus from North Gaza. Financial Times. Thousands of Palestinians have begun an exodus from the north of the besieged Gaza Strip to the south of the enclave following an Israeli evacuation order. The order followed almost a week of intense bombardment after Hamas' incursion into Israel. Israel's latest move has also led to deep concern in neighboring Egypt, which has the only border point with Gaza apart from those in Israel, the tightly controlled Rafah crossing. Cairo has resisted pressure to allow Palestinians to flee to its territory in large numbers, and Egypt's foreign ministry warned on Friday that the order to leave was a grave violation of international humanitarian law. Many Palestinians fear that Gaza City will be destroyed and that residents will be forced into Egypt. Israel is planning a ground offensive in response to the worst attack in the Jewish state's history, in which Hamas militants based in Gaza entered Israel and killed more than 1,300 civilians and soldiers. Israel's bombardment of Gaza has already killed almost 1,800 people and wounded more than 6,300. EU industry chief warns Alphabet CEO on tech rules compliance after Hamas attack. Reuters. EU industry chief Thierry Breton has warned Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai to adhere to EU tech rules after the spread of disinformation on YouTube following Hamas attacks in Israel. Breton reminded Pichai of the company's obligations set out in the Digital Services Act, DSA, which requires large online platforms to do more to tackle harmful and illegal content. The letter followed similar letters sent earlier this week to Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and TikTok CEO Shou Zi Chew. Breton said his team would follow up with a specific request to ensure Google complies with the DSA. Exclusive, SoftwareOne gets round of bids in strategic review sources. Reuters. SoftwareOne Holding AG, a Swiss software management company, has reportedly received non-binding bids from private equity firms Bain Capital and Apax Partners. The bids, which were due on October 11, value SoftwareOne at up to 3.2 billion Swiss francs, $3.55 billion, according to sources. The bids come after SoftwareOne rejected 2 previous approaches from Bain Capital earlier this year. SoftwareOne went public on the Swiss exchange in 2019. LVMH is suffering a vibe shift in the luxury business. Financial Times. Luxury brands and the art market are experiencing a slowdown as wealthy consumers become more cautious in their spending following the pandemic. Shares in LVMH, the luxury conglomerate that owns brands such as Louis Vuitton and Dior, fell 7% after it disclosed that post-pandemic luxury spending had slowed in Europe, and U.S. sales of spirits such as cognac had fallen. The art market is also feeling the effects, with young artists seeing their work sell for half the price of previous years. Luxury groups such as LVMH, Kering, and Richemont rely heavily on the spending of the top 1% of shoppers. Hello, everyone. It's your resident 6-degree doctor, bringing you the latest news from around the world. I hope you're ready for a dose of informative and entertaining updates. Let's dive right in. First up, we have an interesting piece from the Sydney Morning Herald about the rise of AI and its impact on job requirements. It seems that with the increasing automation of entry-level tasks, employers are placing greater value on candidates' soft skills, such as critical thinking and problem-solving. So, if you're worried about your lack of a university degree, fret not. Focus on honing those critical thinking skills, and you'll be well equipped to navigate the job market of the future. Next, we have news from the UK's BBC. The broadcaster is set to reveal cost-cutting plans for its news services, following criticism of its coverage of Hamas. Ah, the joys of budget cuts and news controversies. It's like a never-ending soap opera, isn't it? Moving on to North Carolina, where Governor Roy Cooper is preparing a skilled workforce for the influx of Japanese companies, including Toyota, investing in the region. It's always good to see investments and job opportunities coming to a state. Kudos to North Carolina for taking the initiative to train workers and secure a brighter future. Now, let's talk about the situation in Gaza. Thousands of Palestinians are fleeing the north of the enclave following an Israeli evacuation order. The tension between Israel and Hamas continues to escalate, with both sides suffering devastating consequences. It's a tragic situation, and one can only hope for a peaceful resolution. Shifting gears, we have a report on global companies temporarily shutting down operations in Israel due to the recent attacks by Hamas. From airlines to hotels to pharmaceutical companies, many are taking precautions and trying to ensure the safety of their employees. It's a challenging time for businesses, but safety should always be a top priority. In the tech world, the EU industry chief has warned Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai to adhere to EU tech rules after the spread of disinformation on YouTube following the attacks in Israel. It's a reminder that even tech giants need to take responsibility for the content on their platforms. Let's hope they step up their game and tackle harmful and illegal content effectively. Shifting back to business news, Software One Holding AG, a Swiss software management company, has reportedly received non-binding bids from private equity firms Bain Capital and Apax Partners. It's always interesting to see the behind-the-scenes deals and negotiations in the corporate world. Who will come out on top? Only time will tell. Lastly, we have news from the luxury business. It seems that the pandemic has caused a vibe shift, with wealthy consumers becoming more cautious in their spending. Luxury brands and the art market are feeling the effects, with sales slowing down. It's a reminder that even the top 1% of shoppers can be influenced by global events. And there you have it, folks. Another whirlwind of news from around the world. Remember, knowledge is power, so stay informed and keep those critical thinking skills sharp. Now, it's your turn. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Do you have any burning questions? Let's hear your ideas and get the discussion rolling. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.